Sure your phone like your phone.
Oh, I don't have my phone. Hi, I'm Jane Herr, and welcome to 511 Live. We're going to talk about batteries and the warranty service today, and some of the improvements we've made to how we were operating before. First, I'll start off by going through each of our watches and the batteries that are used so that you can have an idea of what it looks like inside and the batteries that are used. So here we have on the HRT, this is the front and back view of each watch. You'll see that this is unique from the other styles because it has two batteries, and not a lot of people realize this because they just think it's one battery to replace, but in reality you have two separate because the lithium battery, the 3-volt, supplies the energy for the digital function, while the silver oxide supplies the energy for the analog movement. So looking inside the watch, this is the lithium battery. And here we have, I don't know if you could read this, but it says replace both batteries, but a lot of people fail to do that. Let me pull that out. That's the top layer. Okay, inside, let me pull out this so you can see exactly where the battery's positioned. This is the silver oxide battery. So this is what people don't see normally, but that's just an inside view of the HRT. Next we have the field ops, and here is the lithium battery. You can see here that we have different brands, but it's open to what's available. But from the manufacturer, we do use Maxell. And then this is the Sentinel. It uses silver oxide also. That's a 1.5 volt. And I didn't have the tool to open this, but this is just the back view of the screw-on case back. So you can see that these are different. These are the plates, and this is the screw-on version. Regarding how we changed our SOP at Modesto, we invested in this pressure tester. So this is what our service provider, Precision Time, is using. It's the exact same equipment. It's about yay big and that tall. So what you do is you take the watch, you load it into the chamber here. I don't know if you have it, you could see the definition there, but you load it into the chamber. You close the lid, so it looks like that. You set it for 30 seconds, and then a pressure vacuum applies air into the chamber, and then it runs it for 30 seconds. And if the air level changes, it means that there's a slow leak. If it remains static for 30 seconds, then that means there's no air leakage, and then that's how we verify that the watch, the seal, is waterproof. And specifically on the topic of the seal, you can see this is very important because it's a rubber gasket, and this is what is used to make the interior movements. It protects it from moisture, so it could even be washing your hands, having a quick swim. But this really prevents the air and moisture from entering, and this is critical because if this gets old, it'll dry out, it could rip. As you can see, it's very tiny, but this is necessary to replace. So these parts are available. They have been assigned replacement parts, and if those are needed, then those are stocked in inventory. Regarding the watch service warranty, We made some adjustments to the website. So we added this new detail. For battery replacement, you may select your own watch repair specialist, but please note that the warranty will be void if either the timepiece gasket is not replaced or an appropriate water pressure test is not conducted in connection with such service. So whereas before you only had the option to send the watches to Precision Time in Utah, which took the whole hassle of packaging it, shipping, paying for shipping, waiting weeks to be in queue for the battery swap, and then to have it shipped back. That took a lot of time, and we checked around what the industry was doing, and a lot of people were, a lot of watch service dealers were providing options to go local. The watch service places that we called, they did offer the water pressure test and the gaskets, so it just made it a lot more convenient to go local, just because of time and money. So that's the new option, and it should alleviate a lot of complaints. And also in the Modesto warehouse, the dynamic team of Monique, Kenny, Kelly, we all worked together on creating a min-max system so that we would always have watches with fresh batteries on hand in Modesto, so that you could be assured that you weren't going to get a watch with a battery that was going to die after it was purchased. So we took that step to improve that particular aspect, and we're also spot checking by implementing a meter to check the voltage on the batteries, so that if we do receive a shipment, that the batteries haven't been sitting there for a while. Janelle Shelton wrote, will this new process be documented and provided to customer service? Yes, we could get this over to you today. Says, we do not use some type of power reserve process. Why do we not use some type of power reserve process while they're stored in warehouse? Seems batteries die prematurely after sale. So this could be the whole issue of digital versus analog. On digital, there is no way to deactivate the battery once it's been put into the watch. That's a flaw, but that cannot be resolved because of the type of the battery. On digital watches, there's no crown stopper. On analog watches, however, we did find out, and to answer your question directly, for this particular style, for analog, there are crown stoppers. What we're doing is, once the batteries have been replaced for existing inventory, the crown is being pulled out, and this deactivates the battery so that it stops the battery usage, so that it could reserve the battery. So that's how we're solving that problem. And so new products should come with the crown pulled out, and it'll come with a note that says to activate battery, push in the crown and turn clockwise. Okay, so just in recap, the HRT uses two batteries, the lithium and the silver oxide. The Field Ops uses the lithium, and the Sentinel only uses the silver oxide. They call it a button battery. This is called a coin battery. And all these batteries are being stocked in the warehouse, so that in the event that they need to be replaced, we would do that internally. Especially for new customers who this shouldn't happen, but if they buy it and within 3 months the battery dies, they are welcome to return it for a battery swap or a credit. for the cost of exchanging the battery. Mr. Johansson asked, any new watches coming up soon, perhaps something with an ETA movement and sapphire crystal? There's products in what we're calling work in progress, WIP status. So it's not visible to on any line list, but we're working on a new style. It was aligned with the spring 18 season. So more to come as it gets further along in commercialization, but sapphire crystal for this particular price point, it was prohibitive because what we're using now, these are mineral crystal. It's very strong, scratch resistant, but sapphire definitely is the next level. But that would be a gigantic cost increase. And so we're not using that particular spec for the new Spring 18 watch. What does it cost to replace the batteries at our facility? So the only time that we would place it is if they were metered to check the battery life, and it was found that they were either dead or needed to be replaced immediately. So that would be an internal cost. I think the batteries, we did set up a vendor battery junction, and the cost of replacing the battery it ran from like 50 cents to $1, plus the cost of labor. Bill Berry asked, should our customers be directed to send their watches there? They could either get it placed at their local watch dealer, because we don't want them to send it in, because then it becomes a big hassle with all the the returns. So we would suggest if they bought it and the battery died within 3 months, that they could exchange it locally, and then they would receive a credit. And that would run anywhere from $10 to $20 market price. Anyone else have more questions? If not, thank you for listening, and hope to have more updates soon. Okay. If you have any additional questions, type it in the chat and I'll get to you after the feed.